Good morning. It is a beautiful day here in London, and this is the Daily 5, how to survive and thrive in times of crisis. Look, I know the world is still locked down, and a lot of people are wondering how they're going to get through this from a mental standpoint, from a business standpoint. So I thought I'd share today something with you that you can do right now that could change your game today. And actually, I got this idea from one of my guests on London Real, two-time guest, Mr. James Altucher. He's got a great book called Choose Yourself and a whole movement, a great podcast. He owns a Comedy Store in New York, which is where I interviewed him last time. And what James does every day is he writes down 10 ideas. He writes down 10 ideas every single day, and he calls it a way of harvesting his creativity. And what he does sometimes is he takes two of those ideas, he puts them together, and he calls it idea sex. And that's where two kind of concepts meet each other, and a brand new, never thought of idea happens before. What James does is he actually writes down lists of 10 ideas for other companies. He wrote down a list of 10 ideas for Google, for Facebook, for Amazon, and I'm pretty sure later was invited by all of those companies to come there and speak to them. And I think he might have even done some consultancy work for them, because that's what happens when you give value to other people. They see it and they want you involved in their lives. And so I want to challenge you today to do this one thing. I want you to find 5 people today, and I want you to help them. That means selflessly help them. I'm not talking about expecting fees or even expecting anything in return, but 5 ways to genuinely help someone. That doesn't mean texting someone. That means maybe get on a call, introduce them to a business contact, give them some advice about their business that can help them progress, give them some advice about their life or some help in their life that can help them get to the next level. So that's 5 people today. I want you to reach out and do something that materially changes their life. Now you might be like, oh man, that sounds like a lot of work, Brian. It doesn't have to be. It might take you an hour. And don't tell me you don't have an hour now, because I know you do. And reach out and try to do something for them. Again, this reinforces a bunch of concepts. One of my main rules in the London Real Academy is that we are all there for one reason, and that is to add value to other people, period. That's all I do every day, is I try to go in and add value to you when I broadcast, to you right now when I'm doing this vlog, to my students when I do live events. We're always trying to add value to someone's life. That is how you do a lot of things. First of all, that's how you create a business, by adding value. You don't create a business by charging money. You add value first. One of my mentors, Dan Pena, says, you want to make $1 billion, change 1 billion lives. And that's why people get mad at a lot of people that are billionaires and wealthy. Those people have usually added value to many people's lives. And so that's what I want you to think about doing today. When you add value, amazing things happen. First of all, there's reciprocity that's happened, money comes in, but the world really changes. And I really started noticing this when I started broadcasting London Real. There I was, alone in my studio back in 2011. It wasn't even a studio. Let's get real. It was my apartment, or my flat, as we say in London. And I was broadcasting and putting things out, and my life started to change for the better, because the Brian that used to be focused on just him and making as much money as possible as a banker started focusing instead on just adding value to other people's lives. And immediately my relationships improved. All sorts of like really cool things happened to me. Call it karma, call it whatever. And my life has just been on a steady trajectory of improvement ever since. It's no coincidence that I had a family after I started London Real, that I have 2 beautiful boys. It's no coincidence that I stopped drinking after doing London Real. It's no coincidence that all these incredible things happened to me. Some of the greatest mentors on the planet are mine. Some of the greatest friends I have, some of the greatest contacts, some of the greatest shows. This is because every day I woke up and thought, how can I add value by creating something of value that's of a high quality, no matter what? And I wasn't getting paid for it back then. I mean, I didn't get paid for anything for 3 years, but I was just all about trying to put out a great message that changed someone's life. And that started me on a crazy trajectory of business success, life success, everything. And I wouldn't ever change it for a minute. And the truth is, honestly, financially, you could take away all the financial gains of London Real tomorrow and throw it away, and it would still have been a massively worthwhile adventure. So my task for you today is 5, just like the Daily 5. Go out and add that value to 5 people in your life. And it could be just getting on the phone with your grandma and walking her through and reminding her of the distances and how she's got a super quarantine for the next 12 weeks. It could be getting on the phone with someone whose business is really suffering and walk them through some of the steps they can do. A lot of time, fear just paralyzes you and you're like, my business is dead. Well, is it really dead? Okay, the brick and mortar way you thought of doing business was dead, but you've got a lot more resources here. You've got to pivot. You got to think outside the box. You got to change. Maybe you can help them walk that stuff through. So there you go, folks. This is the Daily Five. I really believe this is the time to expand, not contract. Mentally, spiritually, financially, all of that stuff. I know the world is telling you, and your gut reaction and your amygdala is telling you to run and hide and live in fear and all of that stuff. But I'm telling you, it's the opposite. And as my mentor Dan Pena says, you got to run towards the gunfire. And in these times, you have to resist the temptation to contract and instead expand. You have to really go for it. Because look, all of this will pass. It always does. And then we'll be back to our same reality. And I'd rather you be in a stronger place. So anyway, sending lots of love to each and every one of you, wherever you are around the world, dealing with all sorts of madness. Stay strong, stay up, go help those 5 people today. All right, peace.